Guys, you're welcome on board. Simply Emmanuel, myself, Wonder Boy, Heritage Studios. My big, my big bro, you're welcome on board. Okay, so quickly, while we're all trying to balance things up, can we just send a reminder to some of our friends that possibly might be skipping their mind that it's 5 p.m. already, and also my sound check guys there, if you write there and you can hear me loud and clear, please let me know, so I know that everything is intact. Okay, Muyiwa DMO, please guys, it's really going to be an interesting session today, so can you just quickly send reminders to some of our guys out there? Okay, number is increasing. Smart, all the way from the northern part of Nigeria. Still Designs, wow. We have a lot of great people here. Heritage Studios, protocols duly observed. Okay, thank you, Heritage Studios. Okay, Alfizo, I'm Architect Wale, you're welcome on board. Please just a quick reminder, if we can just use just few seconds to intimate people on our WhatsApp platforms, social media platforms, just to make people know that okay, it's time, and shortly we can start with what we have on ground. Okay, so briefly, while that is ongoing, I'll just be talking briefly about what we have on ground for today, which looks into digital innovations in architecture, and one of the things that's odd, we trying to ensure that we did come up with a platform that will, give us some information as regards this is the trend in which we are at now presently, the present situation of things in our era. The world is really advancing, and it's very important young architects precisely also follow the trend, and we are not left behind. And we know how the system might be, but being optimistic about how things might be, we're positive that in spite of our systems, we can still come up with meaningful things. Nigeria is a blessed nation, and yes, it might not really be as good as we really want it to be, or we expect it to be, but some people are still pulling waves there, and that's one of the essence of this platform. So we'll be talking about digital innovations in the world of architecture, and how as young minds, as architects, we can have these informations on ground, and look into how well we can carve a niche for ourselves. You understand, information is really powerful, and there are quite a number of things that we feel we know already that we really don't know much about, you understand, or we have not fully explored the advantages we tend to benefit from those kind of things. So these are some things that we've spoken about today, and yeah, the world has really advanced. Yeah, it's way beyond just being good with the use of softwares. Like we were saying last week, artificial intelligence and architecture is infused now, and how architects can try to carve up something for themselves such that they are not left behind. Architects, based on the global standard, are already moving, but we have some constraints in our system here. So these are some core things that we'll be talking about today. All right, so without wasting much time, I'll be bringing on board our guest speaker. He is the Nigerian representative of Beam Africa, Building Information Modeling Africa. And I think there's no other person that would actually um, look at bringing on board other than people who are actually knowledgeable in this aspect, this movement of the building information modeling, and how you know we can leverage on what they have acquired as a knowledge. And not that alone, the person on ground is also in Nigeria, and so he can actually relate with our context and share with us how we can come up with something meaningful and something that will actually stand the test of time, regardless of whatever constraints that we might be facing in our system. Right, so I'll be bringing him on board shortly. Yes, it's coming up. Okay, Mr. Lot, I think. Okay, maybe can you try to twist your screen? Is that
Sorry, is it better now?
yeah, yes, yes. Okay, you're welcome on board to today's OKR design talk session. And this person that we are all looking at on the screen is an amazing person, and precisely is an advocate for Beam Africa. You would actually hear from the horse's mouth, so it won't look like I'm actually dishing out what they're all about. I think it's very good to hear from the horse's mouth. But just a brief run through his profile. Like I said earlier, he's an advocate at Bring Africa. Mr. Lord Kaduma is a project architect, an advocate, and a researcher with a focus on digital innovations and sustainability in the African built environment. So we brought the right person. I would not lie about this. Based on little background findings and checks, and some of us we had to fly to China. We had to meet with some of our contacts in China before they referred us back to Africa. Then Africa referred us back to Mr. Lot. So it's so good to have you on board, Mr. Lot. Thank you very much for honoring our request.
Yes, I'm very much grateful, and I'm really honored to be amongst the midst of young and and open-minded individuals spread across the not just Nigeria, because just like you said, that you just mentioned China, the connecting factor between you and I. Basically, and that's the beauty about the world we find ourselves today, because this is what we're preaching. We live in a global economy right now, and
Okay.
there's no limitation to location or outreach, because of what one critical factor, which is digital innovation, digitization across the globe. So it's really wonderful to be here, and I hope I'll be able to do justice to the topic at hand.
One thing about we architects, I don't know. It's around. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's. I've met with some foreign architects too. They are always humble. We're always humble. And, there's just a way we don't like showing ourselves. I believe everyone, the audience, we're listening to that. This is just a normal standard. And one other thing again that is, intriguing and inspiring is in the fact that young minds are the ones frontiering this. Yes, when it comes to digital, it's always good have young minds, and these are not just young minds. These are young minds that are well loaded. So you're welcome to board. Now going straight to um, the session quickly now. Please can you tell us about BIM Africa, and basically it should actually capture what this group is all about and their vision and mission.
All right, thank you very much. I would like to be as brief as possible so that we don't take too much time on and focus straight on the topic at hand. Okay, basically, thank you once again. Um, my name is Lord Kazuma. I've been practicing as an architect for the past 7 years, even though recently I've pivoted. I pivoted beyond architecture and broader into the wider space of IT in construction because of the passion I have for the space, and which was what led me, which was not what brought me into the team of Beam Africa. Beam Africa is basically a non-profit and Pan-African multidisciplinary network of professionals. We are professionals spread across the built environment from architecture, engineering, construction, and operations. And our major connecting factor and inspiration is the fact that we are all enthusiastic about technology in the construction sector, because we believe that the construction sector in Africa is critical to achieving the needed growth and development. If you look at the Sustainable Development Goals, some of the key goals, you have Sustainable Development Goal 9 and 11. Those focus on innovation infrastructure, and also sustainable cities and communities. So our drive is to ensure that we as the key drivers, we as the providers of of services that makes up the built environment, is to ensure that we take the best use of these tools and technologies, which is digitization, so that we can be able to deliver we can be able to deliver sustainable and smart cities in Africa. That's the only way, because that's the only way we can pivot and move from developing to the League of Developed Nations, and which is why we are passionate about what we do. And we've made, for the past 1 year that we've been active, we've made quite some good strides to ensure that this vision comes to fruition.
Wow, no, that's really great. With in how many countries, African countries, is the Beam of Africa really a part of? Is it the whole African countries? The 52 countries in Africa, or yeah.
Okay, yes. We are spread across about 20 African countries,
Wow.
and our footprints spread across all the regions, from West and Central Africa, Southern Africa, Eastern African, and Northern African. And we are a multilingual network, both anglophone and francophone. And we're not just our footprint is not just limited to the African continent. We also have our footprint is spread across other regions, especially in the UK, America, and Asia. So we've been able, because we've realized that we have to live by what we preach. If we believe that we are in a global economy, we cannot prosper in isolation. So the idea was to make sure that, even though it's an African centric network, the idea is to ensure that we exploit the opportunities around globalization and build a global partnership with institutions, organizations, and individuals that help us achieve our goals. Some of these organizations, for example, we have Beam Turkey, we have CanBeam. CanBeam is the key body of these professionals that are regulating and pushing building information modeling in Canada. We have partnership with Autodex, and we also have partnership with that is that is called it's also a non-profit, but it's based on it's based on information and knowledge spread. It's called Beam Excellence. One of the key driver is Bilal Sukar. I think he's an Australian. So if you look at our network, we have a wide range of network, especially in Europe America, and we intend to keep exploiting this network across the globe.
Wow, this is really amazing. Yeah. And sorry, I think I might quickly have to rush over these now. What are the impacts since the establishment in the Nigerian building and construction industry?
Okay, so far we've been able to make quite some significant impacts. First of all, in the area of education, we have our flagship program, which is called the Student Advocacy Program, and which we're currently in the second cohort. The whole concept around that was to ensure that we are able to catch young minds, students that will be able to understand, students that will be able to understand the concept around what building information. We take them through 3 months. It's a virtual training of 3 months. You
Wow.
have you have yes, you have teams of students that were selected of from a pool of applications from universities spread across the African continent. It wasn't just limited to Nigeria. So, and we were able to exploit uh, virtual tools, virtual platforms to ensure that these students are not limited by location. And for the period of 3 months, they were able to learn about the concepts of building information modeling, and were even motivated to carry out advocacy programs within their institutions. So if you look at the spreads just within that 1 year program, we're able
Wow.
to we're able to reach out or listen to more than 2,000 students across the
Wow.
continent because of this. And definitely due to the Nigerian factor, the Nigerian representation was highest. We had
Wow.
schools we had schools from the north, south, east, and west that that participated and even carried out advocacy programs within their schools. So if you look at that, and right now we can boast, I just like you said, architects are humble, but I think it's a thing of pride, and also a way of encouragement to all of us.
Mm.
Due to this program, we've seen the level of engagement that these students are having, especially in the global community in platforms such as LinkedIn. They have actually built their confidence, built their knowledge, and they are actually making waves for themselves right now, even without our supervision anymore. So and these are some of the platforms. These are some of the ways that we make impact in the area of to critical stakeholders in the industry. But we understand that as much as how we intend to use the bottom up approach, which is through reaching out to the grassroots, that's the students and the professionals, we also understand that it's important to reach out to the influencers, to the
Mhm.
decision makers that have the ability to influence the direction.
Okay, guys, I don't know if you guys can hear me. I think one of the Nigerian factors is already at work. But just let me know if you can hear me so I know that it's not from my own end and it's from Mr. Lotz's end. So I need to know if you can hear me. Hello? 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 Okay. Thank you very much, Simad. I think we have some slight issues with network. That's one of the Nigerian factors. I guess our guest was talking about. Well, it's all good, and it's good to know that okay, Beam Africa they are really up to something, and it's like okay, they are making impact. It might really be gradual, but within a span of a year, being able to you know push some major buttons in our system here to ensure that there's a consciousness about and an awareness about the movement. These are some things that, by virtue of my little exposure, I've always known to have been existing already in some regions or some countries of the world. So we have a lot to catch up with, guys. That's why, these sessions are really important, very, very important. We have quite a lot to catch up with. We have quite a lot to catch up with. As disheartening as it might sound, we have to be really factual and practical with ourselves. One of my colleagues that I was speaking to in Germany, he said that the future that Nigeria is anticipating, as disheartening as it might seem to be, the future that Nigeria is anticipating is another country's past. So imagine the future that you are anticipating is another country's 2010. You can imagine that we have to catch up with our own future and their own future. So we have a lot to do. So Mr. Alot, you're welcome back on board. Nigerian Factor, the network.
Apologies.
All right. So going straight to the point, I don't want us to really dwell so much here. We know that there are some basic problems, but it's good to know that the team and the group on a large scale, they are making impacts from the grassroots level, trying to see how well to impact young architects and what is it called? Technology enthusiasts, basically. And it's good to know that the numbers are increasing gradually. Okay, now I want you to quickly give us an overview. This might be a bit lengthy, but it's good you will dwell so much on this. The trend, that's a brief take through on the history in the world of architecture with respect to digital innovations. It's good we actually catch up with what is actually what is in vogue, one, and what has been existing. Because it's good to know that it's a point to create an awareness to actually know where we are at as regards this trend. So would like to hear a brief summary on the trend as regards digital technology and innovations.
All right. Thank you once again. Basically, we all have a history, and the story of architecture is as long as the history of time, as the story of time itself. So the story of humanity and civilization. We all know that basically, apart from food and clothing, shelter has always been one of the critical needs of humanity. And as architects, we've been able to shape civilization to the image in which, to our own image, to our own vision of what we intend, how we visualize what the world around us should look like. Starting from the Mesopotamians, the Egyptians, to the Romans, Greeks, all the way to modern day. Architects have always been on the forefront of shaping the physical dimensions of reality, and which will continue to do till the end of humanity. And basically, how we'll be able to achieve this? We'll be able to achieve this with several tools, which normally we call the scale. But over time, as technology continue to develop, we've been able to have different ways in which we'll be able to represent and document our ideas. And as of the advent of the computer, we've been able to evolve from the traditional pencil, scale, T-square, and drawing board to a much more vast space that allows us to explore wider things. Right from the 1960s, when at the MIT lab, when Ivan Sutherland created the sketchpad, up to the point when Autodesk launched AutoCAD, we've had a wider scope of doing design. Let's try and remember something. CAD in itself is what we can refer to as the first digital innovation that came into the world of architecture. And CAD changed a lot of things. Changed a lot of things in the sense that so many repetitive tasks weren't limited by paper space, because as wide as you can think about the X, Y, and Z dimension, you can be able to achieve that within a CAD space. And things like repetitive work, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about, okay, I did this design. In long and short, CAD increased the speed in which we were able to design. Remember what it means: computer aided design. Computer aids the way we design and draft. So that was the first key innovation that changed, digital innovation that changed the way we design buildings and urban spaces. Further, moving forward, one of the key features of CAD is the ability to design in 2D and 3D based objects. But further along the line, we now got to a point whereby we're able to have much more powerful tools and powerful systems that were able to bring up intelligent, intelligent 3D based objects in our design tools. A very good example is what we call building information modeling. Building information modeling is basically an approach where intelligent 3D tools, 3D elements and objects actually follow a specific parameter that mimics the actual behavior of every single element within a built asset. What that means is that if you have a door, you don't just have a door represented in 2D lines or a door represented in 3 dimensions. The behavior of that door will be restricted by the actual parameters in which that door is set up. Also, what makes BIM an intelligent tool for architectural designers is that you don't have to worry about designing different views and ensuring that those views tally with each other. For instance, what you have on the floor plan, because you are actually building a model, you are not drafting. You are not drafting. You're actually building a model, and you can actually maneuver around different views. What that means is that if you change the position of a door, if you change the position of a door on the plan, automatically that door also changes on the elevations, on the sections. And what
Oh, I think the line is it's breaking.
am I back now?
Yeah, yes, you're back now. Hello, hello. Okay, so I think we can really get some things that he's
How about now?
the reception is really not so good. Okay, but okay, you can talk now. Yes, I think it's okay now.
Okay. Apologies again. I hope we don't have to keep dragging this. Okay. Back to what I was saying. BIM gives us that further ability to design intelligently. Design intelligently in the sense that we don't have to worry about redundancy in design, and focus more on how we can focus more on how we can design intelligently, and less on and spend less time. Let's spend less time on redundant things. And the beauty about BIM again is that because our work because our design does not stop on the drawing board. We are not we are not fine arts. We are not fine artists, and I think that's something we always need to remember of architectural visual. Okay, which is okay. It shouldn't be a problem if, as a young architect, you want to focus your career around architectural visualization. It's not. It shouldn't be a problem. But we should need to remember that as architects, our end goal is not about designing beautiful buildings. Our end goal is about making sure that those beautiful buildings we are designing can be built. I hope I'm actually making sense here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as much as I would like to bamboozle, do a lot of fancy designs, but the end goal should always be that our design should be buildable. Our design should be able to tally with what the engineers, the quantity surveyors, and even the contractor can be able to deliver. So what BIM does is that BIM helps to drive integrated helps to build integration within all the professionals and disciplines. With BIM, this in your design can be paired together with the engineers, and you can be able to find where clashes are. And apart from that, also the cost aspect. You can be the quantity surveyor can actually generate direct quantities, actual and accurate quantities from your design, and ensure that whatever and can give you the right input to ensure that whatever design you are creating is tallies to the cost expectations of the project. So in essence, what BIM has been able to do for us, like, it has taken us back to the age of the master builder. It has taken us back to our roots to ensure that we are technological conscious, and we are aware of the need to ensure that our buildings are designed efficiently so that they can be transmitted on site with better efficiency. So that's how far we've come when it comes to when it comes to digital innovations in the architectural space.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. That's really quite a lot to, um, take in as regards to the fact that, it's really increasing on a fast pace. And, like one of the states, based on what you said, just to add a little, based on, I got to know that, architecture had gone beyond just getting to draw your plans and, have your building design and everything. You're also getting to the point of energy efficiency. You understand? Just like you were making mention about how a door functions. Energy efficiency, you can actually analyze a building's performance, and these are some things that are really, really important. Analyzing a building's performance, so it goes
Yes.
way beyond how you picture your design. You're getting to the point that, okay, that, okay, the average energy consumption for this house, you understand, this is the value, and this is how it saves you energy compared to the conventional buildings or the buildings that are already existing, you understand. So these are some things that you also run simulations as regards energy. You also look at what is it called? It could even help you have simulations towards proposing a good retrofit idea. These are some things that it has what is it called? Technological advancement in architecture has actually evolved into. Well, amazingly, the network is really, really malfunctioning because the part we're about getting to now is the part where he gets to tell us the new innovations. We get to hear about things like BIM 360. You get to hear about Rhino. You get to hear about Maya. You even get to hear about programming. You understand how as okay, he's back online. Network is really, really. I don't know. Maybe someone should help us disappear to this data providers offices to help us speak to them. Okay, you're welcome on board again. Yes, so please, can you share more insight about these technologies that we have? Because it's good to really hear about them. The likes of maybe BIM 360 and how it is applicable based on what is actually existing. Because a lot of us, the best BIM tools that we are quite conversant with, that if some of us even know about BIM tools, which I can actually say that we are not maximizing these BIM tools to its fullest potential. I think I miss myself and my colleagues back then in school. Just a few of us knew about energy performance, knowing how to use Revit to run energy simulations. So I think it would be ideal you talk about a lot of these DIM tools and how we can just have insights about them. Maybe on our own, we can get to see how well we can go on our private um, what is it called, single-handedly to learn more about them. So would like to hear about these tools, different tools and innovations as regards smartphones. Right, you know.
Okay, thank you again. BIM, BIM on its own is a broad, it's shrouded around a broad spectrum. Sometimes there is this misconception, is BIM a software? Is BIM a tool? Or is BIM a process?
Okay,
Yes.
that's true.
You keep on finding these conflicting viewpoints interfacing, and it has been causing a lot of chaos. A lot of people will tell you that Revit is BIM, ArchiCAD is BIM. You understand? But what we globally based on the globally accepted definition of what BIM is, building information modeling is is what you define as a digital representation. You understand? A digital representation of the physical characteristics of a built asset. A built asset or a facility. What that means is that built asset is not just limited to buildings. You understand? A chair is a built asset. A bridge is
Mm,
a built asset. A road is a built asset. So it's not just limited to buildings. That's one. And
okay.
two, and you see, that's the first part of what the definition of BIM is: digital representation of the physical characteristics of a built asset.
Mm,
It should be able to help. Let me use a better. I don't want to be too technical. Those the beam itself, yes, and this physical representation should be able to help decision should be able to facilitate the decision making process of the entire life cycle of this built asset. You
mm,
understand?
mm,
You understand? The life cycle of a built asset starts from the planning, design, construction, operation, change of use, and decommission. You get the point? So if you look at it well, the life cycle of a building does not stop from the design. It goes all the way to the day it's decommissioned and demolished and to the end of use. So if you look at it very well, there are several information cycles that keep flowing from all these phases, from the planning to the operation stage. There are information cycles that happen. Information exchanges happen.
mm,
First, first the building owner identifies the property they want to develop, and they create a brief. They create a brief in coordination with the architect. The architect now this thing collaborates with a design team to bring out a design that is functional and cost effective to the aspirations of the client. Once that design is prepared, the bidding process happens where a contractor is identified to ensure that this design is brought to fruition according to what was specified by the design team. After that is done, the building or the asset is now handed over to the owner or facility manager to operate the building throughout to the end of its use. So as you can see, there are informations both in paper, both graphical and non-graphical information that will be exchanged within the cycle. But if you look at the nature of the construction industry, we're a fragmented industry. You understand? What it takes to create, it's not like manufacturing, that what it takes to create a car or a, you understand, can be within a closed loop. All you just need to do is get all the resources, all your raw materials, and within a closed factory, you are able to, you're able to create that product. But when it comes to a building, for instance, it's fragmented. Apart from the professionals that you have to bring together, you understand, and no one building is unique. No one building is, every building is unique to the other, and every site, every condition, even if the same building you are going to build, the conditions, external conditions around it, you understand, external conditions around around each of these buildings are unique. If I'm going to build the same building, different from the same building in Lagos, it's different from how I build the same building in Accra. So these conditions makes it a fragmented industry, and we are mobile. We are mobile. Because of that, that makes the industry acrimonious. We easily get into conflict, and there are a lot of wastages that occur compared to manufacturing. So the idea was to look at the manufacturing model, especially what Toyota was able to achieve through a lean and closed loop system. The information exchanges are integrated and within a very closed loop, so that time and resources are ensured that they are put to best use to the fullest, which is why they are able to deliver their products in due time. So that is the concept that was in the construction industry through building information modeling. We are going to ensure that all these stages, all these life cycle stages are integrated. What that means is that if I'm, as an architect, if I'm designing a building, I'm already designing with the end user. You understand? I'm designing with the end user in mind. You understand? I'm designing what BIM empowers every single stakeholder to have full participation within the development process. What that means is that with tools with a common data environment like BIM, which this is what brings us to BIM 360 now. BIM 360 is a common data environment, because those are one of the key things that ensure that you are running full BIM. Because we have different levels of BIM, from BIM level 1, BIM level 2, BIM level 3. And we also have different BIM dimensions, from 3D BIM.
The network is really, there's some noise coming from.
Hello?
Excuse me, the line is it's breaking gradually. Hello?
Oh.
Hello?
Hi.
No, I think you have to recap some things you said, especially about starting from 2360 and the levels of things. I think it's good to recap that, because while you were talking, it was freezing at some point. So maybe you can quickly run through that.
Okay, back to where I was talking about BIM 360. The BIM 360 is what you call a common data environment, because that is what makes BIM when you're running full BIM. Most of what we do in Nigeria is what we call lowly BIM. Lowly BIM in the sense that we only use the tools, as architects, we only use the tools for our own purpose. After we've developed the 3D, we still have to convert we still have to convert the 3D into two-dimensional drawings and share it. Can you hear me?
Wow. No, 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 no. The line is it's breaking now. Well, we'll keep on trying our best. We are in a system that you just have to see how you can siphon the little you can siphon, because now it's really freezing.
Am I back now?
I think okay, we can hear you now. We really picked more on why you were talking about the lonely beam.
Yes, and just like I said, lonely beam is when you're using the tools to develop 3D models for your own purpose only, and you don't share, you can't, other professionals cannot work from that same 3D model. Because basically what architects do in Nigeria, what we do is, even when we use tools like Revit or ArchiCAD, we still have to convert those models into three-dimensional drawings in order to share with other professionals. So that's what we call lonely beam, and you're not, when you do that, you're not practicing full beam, even though you are using what we call a beam software or beam tool. Revit and ArchiCAD is a beam tool. They are all beam tools. They are used to create beam models. But the process of creating those models to aid the construction, the construction delivery, the design and construction delivery of the built assets is what you call building information modeling. So in essence, the generally agreed consensus is that BIM is a process. BIM is a process software. BIM is the way of doing things. You understand? So going back to BIM 360, BIM 360 is what we call a common data environment, which helps to integrate. You understand? It helps to integrate every single stakeholder, whether it is the building owner, whether it is the facility manager, whether it is the quantity surveyor, or the builder, or the architect or designer. You can see the design as it's developing, and you're not limited by no matter the location you are. You could have teams spread all across the world, and through this common data environment, it's a cloud-based tool. It's connected to all these BIM tools. It connects Revit or ArchiCAD. Okay, Revit is for BIM. ArchiCAD, I'm sure for users of ArchiCAD, they know what we call BIMX. Users of ArchiCAD will be quite conversant. We have been hearing about BIMX.
Can you talk about BIMX? Because not everybody really knows what BIMX is. Because these beams, it's like we just see them under one canopy. It's like you're even shedding light on all these things.
Yes, just like I said, the most important, the connecting factor here is what you call the common data environment. The common data environment, yes, BIM 360 and BIMX. Or sorry, BIM 360 and BIM Cloud. Sorry, I said BIMX. Sorry, BIM Cloud. BIM 360 and BIM Cloud are what you call common data environments. Revit is a BIM authoring tool. BIM authoring. What is that? You use Revit to author the BIM model. You understand? The BIM. Well, just like I told you, this is is actually a broad spectrum, but it's not. It might seem complicated. It might seem complex, but it's not complicated. If you actually understand the process of how the whole system works, get the whole picture. So a common data environment ensures that every single stakeholder can be able to have access to the model and be able to input valuable information. What's it called? Able to input valuable information at critical times to ensure that before before groundbreaking, all issues, clashes, issues like constructability, issues like variation, issues like even user comfort, because you also have factor in the end user. How will the end user how will the end user make best use of the facility? Especially now that we are in the age of sustainability, health and well-being, and even with COVID-19 right now has that radically impacted how we deliver buildings. We have to start delivering buildings with health and well-being in mind. You understand?
Mm.
So the beauty about BIM and this kind of intelligent tools that they actually help us visualize. You understand? They help us visualize all these factors even before we leave and go to site. So that by the time we break down what we find actually reflects what best option, the best design option, the best design option for the building owner and use it to also deliver value in the long run. So I will actually encourage everyone to look up what building information is and not just restrict ourselves to the whole concept that BIM is a software. BIM is not a software. The software is part of the BIM process because you cannot achieve BIM without the software. You understand? But from software or technology, you also have processes, you have standards, you have people. Yes, and who are the roles, who is responsible for what kind of information and how is the information will be exchanged, how will it be stored. So you can see because of BIM now, the architectural world is now beginning to merge with the IT world. You understand?
Exactly.
Also, BIM is that driver that will push us because of all the industries in the world. What we call it, architecture is just the industry that that is ahead of agriculture. As I said, ahead of farming. Just imagine when it comes to adoption of digital. I want us to really picture it. When it comes to adoption of digital innovations, the construction industry is close to farming. You understand? We are still working with tools and processes that are similar to what was used by the Romans. When but industries like banking, manufacturing, you understand, what's it called, gone far, and they've actually achieved a lot of success when it comes to adopting digital innovations. So it's actually high time we jump into the wave and not be left behind. If not, we won't be able to catch up.
Wow, time is really not our friend. Yeah, it's a really. I have lots of personal questions for you, but I really know time is a constraint. But I don't know how we'll package all this, guys. If you have questions, I know that yes, we might not have much time, but if we have questions, please, can you just quickly start typing them? I think I've seen one question already, and I think quickly. I don't know how you have to say this, but you have spoken about a problem now. And quite a number of us don't even know that this problem is existing. You understand? Hardly would I get someone else's Revit work. I use Revit. Hardly would I get someone else's Revit work and conveniently work with that same work. Except I just want to take it to the next rendering. If I want to render, yes, I can use it in rendering. But to start modeling or to put in some important information. It's even for organizations. The person that will handle the DD, the way he will work differently. The person that will
Yes.
handle the what is it called, the working drawings, they work differently,
Right.
and there should be a common connection point. It
Yes.
should be a smooth flow, not like we can work together as a team, but we can transit into each other and fade in or fade out. I think that's the best way to express myself. So now that we have established the fact that there's a problem, how can we as architects, begin making a change or effecting a change, or what can we do? Because this problem, I'm telling you, it's even like it's propounding. It's really complex beyond how I had thought about it until now that you spoke about it. So please, can you talk about some solutions in that regard?
Okay, well, basically, looking at where we are, I'm sure as long as everybody by the fourth industrial revolution. We have jumped into the era of data. We jumped into the information age, where data is the new oil. Data is the new oil. Um, all the top countries across the globe have one connecting factor. They are all data centric, from Amazon, Apple, Samsung, Huawei, Alibaba, Microsoft. They are all they are the driving forces around the digital innovations that we find in ourselves, around the digital world that we find ourselves today. And because of this, because of the fourth industrial revolution, the way we work, there is this thing. I'm sure people that are up to date, you keep hearing things about the future of work. The future of work. You understand? Future of work, which is centered around decentralization, centered around let's say what's it called? Digitization and artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Merging and transforming the way the economy works. And because of this, and this actually has brought up the need of new skill sets. And because of that, a lot of people within the workforce will end up being disenfranchised. You understand? Because if everything becomes automated, it's very simple. We're in the age of automation. We're in the age of automation. Everything is becoming automated now. In fact, there'll be a time that even we as human beings will be automated. You understand? What's it called? With the coming of 5G, fifth generation wireless technologies, with things like what we call IoT, the Internet of Things, you have smart sensors fixed around every part of the world where there's something we call a digital twin. You understand? A digital replica of yourself. I'm not even talking about building. I'm actually trying to give us a picture of how the world is changing and why we need to start looking at let's look at it from a broader context before we now come back to architecture. We're getting to the point whereby in fact, as all of us, we all have a digital replica. We have what we call a digital footprint. With Instagram, my Instagram this profile is part of my digital footprint. My Facebook is part of my digital footprint. So we are already a part of us is already connected to the digital world. And what 5G does, what 5G and IoT does is that 5G gives what we call it goes further by creating what we call digital twins, which is an exact digital replica of every single object and even a being. Let's say, for instance, right now, you have with things like a smartwatch. A smartwatch reads can read your pulse and actually provide critical data regarding your physiology. In the future, we'll have it by you have virtual or remote medicine, telemedicine. You won't have to go to the hospital to receive medical treatment. In fact, because we are connected, because we are all connected wirelessly, before you even get to the hospital, your doctor already has real-time data of all your physiology. And can be able to you just be working and then you now receive an alert. You need to come to the hospital for a checkup. You understand? Your vitals are doing this. You understand? So that is where this is.
Okay, guys, you're welcome back on board. That these things are so. I'm happy hearing about the fact that new things are ongoing, but at the same time, I'm sad in the sense that we are absolutely nowhere to be found, and we have to really brace up, guys. Sincerely, I must confess. Look at what technological innovations has actually resolved into. We're talking about BIM. We haven't even gotten a full coordinate about what BIM is all about. And at the same time, okay, let me add our guest speaker so he can quickly do justice. Right, so you can imagine where we, and now there's even artificial intelligence, machine learning. We're still far behind. Okay, Mr. Lot, you're welcome on board. Yeah, you're listening. You're listening. It's really good you're even deviating outside architecture so we can have some core ideas of what is really ongoing and what the future projections are. So you can go ahead.
Okay. Where can you just give me probably snapshot of where
We're talking
where
about the current trends as regards
the
evolution,
the global economy, right?
the technologies that are already existing, and now you're trying to narrow it down to the world of architecture now. Hello? Yeah, there goes the network. Something will always affect something. Okay. Yeah, did you pick what I said? Hello? Hello,
Yes,
can
can
you
you
hear
hear
me?
me? I can
Yes, I
hear
can hear
you.
you. Go ahead.
All right. So back to I think I've done justice about the general economy. So back to architecture. How does the fourth industrial revolution, aka Industry 4.0, how does that interject into the architectural space and the disruptions that are happening? Okay, to start with, just we all know that architecture is about how we design. You know, it's about the what's it called it, the skill sets and knowledge. This what's it called it, that is required to deliver, to design and deliver buildings and also the surroundings, which is urban spaces. So one thing is constant. Even if the tools are changing, one thing remains constant is that the process, the architectural design process still remains a constant from time immemorial till the end of time. The architectural process is a constant. What keeps changing is the way we deliver, is the way we carry out that process. That's what keeps changing over time. As as society evolves and new technological innovations come into play. You understand? It's that's this thing, the way we design, the way we carry out our architectural this thing, our jobs as architects, what we call it, keeps being impacted. So coming back to the fourth industrial revolution, what are the new and future trends that will impact we the way we design and deliver buildings, right? The first, one of the key things we have to look at is in the area of artificial intelligence, artificial intelligence infusing with the design and delivery process. We have concepts this what's it called? We have processes called this in generative design. The whole idea of generative design is you as the designer, instead of instead of working your concepts around sketches, iterating your concept around sketches, you now put input, you're now able to impute several parameters. You understand? You're able to input several parameters in a computer program, in a computer system that will now be able to generate 1,000,001 alternatives around that parameter. You understand? So what that does is that if you can remember, CAD, CAD and BIM came to aid, you understand, came to what we call it to make us work aid, make us work faster.
Yeah.
You understand? artificial intelligence, what generative design intends to do is that it ups the game. What that means is that before, with CAD and BIM, we were the driving seat. We were the ones who are putting in most of the brain and physical effort. But with the advent of artificial intelligence, it's the artificial intelligence now that does the work. You only give it a set of instructions. Okay, there are several parameters: square meter coverage, relationship in between spaces. It's more of like it's now it now puts architect more within the pragmatic and programming aspect of architecture. You understand? Basically, before we even begin to put pen to ink on paper, we always have to do some brainstorming. You understand? Which is the programming stage. Which is the programming where we have to look at all the parameters around the design that we want to do. So what that does is that it now takes that responsibility from the human mind to the computer mind. And because the power of artificial intelligence, you are able to generate. If it takes what it would have taken a year of continuous, what would have taken a year of continuous effort, you understand? In million, will I say a million of microseconds? In fact, if there is something far below, I'm trying to give us the picture of what is available, so that we can be able to appreciate this and know and be able to get ourselves ready for these changes. We will not. If we will. A lot of people end up. A lot of architects, not just architects, every industry. This is not just about architecture. Every single industry is being impacted by this. Artificial intelligence is here, and it requires new set of skills. If the new set of skills that begin to fuse architecture with IT, you understand? Architects will now have to start thinking like this. You now have to start thinking like information technology experts. You have to start thinking like programmers. You understand? No, but we're not saying that architects should go and start coding. Yes, saying that architects should go and start coding. You understand? But it's important for us to understand. It's just like when the personal computer came. When the personal computer was invented, basic computing skills like how to run the PC, how to operate basic desktop operating skills were critical. You understand? It now became a critical characteristics of anyone that wanted to survive in the world as of that period. That was in the late 80s and early 90s. You understand? Typewriter. Before it was a typewriter, but the PC now replaced it. So right now, this artificial intelligence is replacing the personal computer in the sense that everything is going to the cloud. You understand? Going to the cloud. You have super fast computing technologies that will be able to run tasks far higher than what your PC would. So that gives you leverage. So at the end of the day, you now have to be able to speak. You now have to be able to speak in the same language with this entity. You understand? You're not going to be drawing lines. You're not going to be drawing lines anymore. You have to be able to relate in the language. So which is why you need to understand how the languages that computers understand are program-based languages. So if you look at things like visual, let's use example. Things like visual, apart from generative design, you also have what you call visual program. You understand? Visual programming is about using, instead of inputting coding languages, you're actually working with visual scripts, which the computer to create different type of geometrical variant. Tools like Dynamo Yes, and tools like Dynamo do that for you. And because of, if you look at it, with Dynamo, for instance, a lot of repetitive tasks that you would have to be doing. You understand? With Dynamo, all you just need to do is impute the factors within the Visual Script, and it runs that for you. So, well, if you look at that now, there is with visual scripting, there is still a well balanced relationship between the user and the program. Well, as artificial intelligence now, it now, you understand? What do you call it? You are the computer itself becomes the driver, while you are in the passenger seat. It's just like automated driving. You understand? Automated driving. You will be relating with the program, with the program, and what do you call it? The program now becomes the driver. So you need to be able to understand the language of how computers work, which is why those are some key skill sets that we need to all look at. How generative, yeah, especially in the area of generative design. As architects, we have to look at that because just imagine you have 1,000,001 options for one design. You understand? Options. And apart from that, if you look at how complex buildings are becoming more and more complex. So what that means with the power of supercomputing now and cloud-based computing, we can actually achieve a lot. And that's just one. If we come back to the area, remember I was talking about IoT, I was talking about Internet of Things, 5G, 5G, fifth generation wireless networks, things like RFID, using RFIDs and sensors. What that's and the whole concept of digital twins. Let's say for instance now, you're able to generate, as a designer, you're able to generate real-time locational information. Yes. Because because if you have a digital twin of a site, let's say in the future, where we are going is that you have with 5G, you have sensors spread all over the world. So that very location, that site itself, you now have real time
It's
digital.
not like Google Apps that gets updated over time.
Yes. But the beauty about this now, the fusion of all these tools is that from the site itself, you could choose not to even go to the site. All you just need is the coordinates of the site. And you impute that to a program, a drone lifts up, goes to that location and captures every single relevant information from pictures to site data to climate to traffic data, everything that has to do even with data regarding the kind of businesses around that location.
So the opportunity is like a SWOT analysis.
It's like a SWOT analysis. So imagine from the comfort of your table, of your decks, what would have taken a month, what would have taken a month to achieve, right there within seconds, you've achieved that information. And as your design keeps developing, you understand, you're doing real-time site analysis, you're doing real-time volumetric analysis. You're actually comparing it with the help of artificial intelligence now. What are the best options to actually bring out if my parameters are listed: thermal comfort, user comfort, what do you call it? Yes, accessibility, security. There are a lot of things. What do you call it? What do you call it? The interconnection with other what do you call it? Other businesses and the rest, especially if it's for a commercial, especially if it's a commercial building. You understand, there are parameters I can impute in that, and as the design is developing, it's actually mimicking, you understand, is developing and is mimicking data
Mm.
from the, you
Mm.
understand, real-time data from the site as the
Wow.
design, all the way to when it's being built and to
Mm.
the point it's being occupied. With that, you now have rich data, rich your design, because one part of the architect's work is the whole idea of post-occupancy evaluation. That helps with data from post-occupancy evaluation. We can use that data to even design another building much more efficiently.
Mm.
So you can see now locational. The whole idea is about infusing GIS, you understand,
Mm.
Geographical Information System.
Mm.
You have GIS, you have photogrammetry, you have lasers, photogrammetry and laser scanning. You have what's it called it? You have photogrammetry and laser scanning, and you have what you call, yes, the use of RFID and sensor, this thing, RFID chips and sensors to be able to, that if that what we call it, that will be able to be sending you real-time data across the device. So you can
Wow.
see with each new innovations, we are getting more and more empowered. When it comes to visualization, I know all of us have already, the buzzword is about virtual reality. We're all
Mm.
talking about reality, augmented reality, mixed
Mm.
reality. Yes, and the beauty about mixed reality is, I know all of us, we could remember when Glass by Google, when
Okay.
Glass by Google, you can remember Google Glass.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes. 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 I'm with you. I can. I remember. I remember.
Hello?
Hello. I can hear you. I can hear you.
Hello? Can you
I
hear me?
can hear you. Yes, I can.
Yes, we all remember. we all- Yes, we all remember when yeah, when Google Glass was the it thing,
Mm.
where Google Glass is a mixed reality device that gives
Mm.
you that imputes what's it called it, digital data around the real environment. So what that means is that it's mixed reality. For instance, I could go to a site and put on a headset. I could go
Project.
to a site, put on a headset, and project the design. So I might not even need to, it's what we call immersive design. You understand?
Mm.
I don't need to go to the computer. I don't need a screen. You understand? I
Mm.
don't need a screen to start working out my design. Right there on the site, right there on the location, or let's say probably I'm within my office space, and when I put on that headset, I'm able to beam. You understand? I'm able to
Right.
beam right to the
Project.
location. You
Mm.
understand? Right there with my headset, I can now start designing to scale.
Mm.
You understand? I can now start
Mm.
designing to scale, which means that I was calling all I can see, I can relate to the real environment, but I can
Mm.
also digital geometry. I can also start working around, it's what you call digital art. You understand? Sorry,
Mm.
immersive. I can now start developing my design as if I'm there, present at the
Mm.
location. So
Mm.
what that means is that from there, when I now come back, when I remove the headset, you
Mm.
understand? I go call it, I could, what that means is that right from inception, you understand? Right from inception, I'm totally immersed within my design. And I can actually have the right and proper feel of all the design decisions I've worked on. So those are things that that young architects need to look into. And the what's it called it, the possibilities are endless. But let me stop here and not drag the whole conversation because
Yeah,
if
yeah. Honestly, I even think I think it was you had saved all these ones for the last part because this part is actually what to an extent I was anticipating, but it's like you had to. It's quite lengthy, quite alright, but this is actually more like the concrete part of today's conversation, the things that we should hear. And the other thing I want to ask now, being in Nigeria. You understand? Being in Nigeria now, it might be, sorry guys, we really took time. I must really apologize for that. But these things are important because these are some technologies that I'm getting to know about immersive design. Yes, I have an idea about all these things, but these are some things that at this current stage, this current era, we should know it. Now with the situation of things on ground, where do we start from? Because we are far. Like me now, I'm already picturing myself that maybe like my stage is maybe more like the 2000 stage or 2005 stage now. So how do we pick things up so we can catch up with time and get to be at a point where our stage equates with the current state of the world?
All right. Okay. Thank you once again. We all know the particular. We're all Nigerians, and we cannot hide the truth. We all know the peculiarities around our society. Yes, and it's sad to say that it's as good that we like to use this nomenclature, or you're on your own. Yes,
Yeah, that's
yes. Let's call a spade a spade. We found ourselves in a system whereby, as young people, you have to find a way. You have to find a way. Nothing will be handed over to you. What we call it? You're expected to make things work, even though the conditions might not really be suitable for you to make things work. When we compare with our peers in advanced countries like in the US and the UK, you can see that we are more of like on our own. You understand? But the beauty about, and which is what affected us a decade ago, especially what's it called, when ICT started trending within the industry, because we were limited by access to information. You understand? Because the truth is that you cannot give what you don't have. You cannot give what you don't have. So, and because we lived in a generation where we were expected to stand in line, follow the queue. You understand? Follow the we were not we were if you try to bust out, they will call you a radical, they will call you a rebel. You understand? You're expected to let me use another language that we all understand well. You are expected to what we call it? That is what we use now, where you are expected jargon in, jargon out. Yes, jargon in. You are expected to follow the process of jargon in, jargon. Give what you are giving. You understand? That space to look beyond, think outside the box, innovate is limited. Try to innovate. What's it call it? You find a situation where you are being shut down and everything, and because you don't even have the resources, a person without resources is already disadvantaged already. But the beauty about this new our the what's it called, where we find ourselves right now. What that means is that our forebears, our elders could not impart all this knowledge, the knowledge of this on us. But the beauty about this new what we call it, this new economy that we find ourselves, this new reality that we find ourselves, is that disruption is far what's it called? Is taking place even within how we learn, even within how we acknowledge this and acquire this knowledge. More and more emphasis is now going on remote learning. You understand? What's it called? Virtual learning, online learning. You understand? If you based on a survey that was done in Silicon Valley, most of most of most of the IT employees only had high school high school diploma. You understand? Only had high school diploma. If you look at even what's happening in America, which is a direction which you need to start looking at. Look at what's happening in America. Most of the people that went for went to Ivy League or liberal arts colleges. You understand? Most of the things that went to Ivy League or liberal arts colleges, this thing that are more centered around what's it called? The liberal sciences and the rest. They are now out of jobs. You understand? After the 2008 meltdown, a lot of people lost their jobs. And who are the people? Who are the people that still remain relevant? People with tech skills. You understand? And most of those guys learned those things at home. They had a computer, and they learned how to program. You understand? They didn't, right from high school, they had already become gurus in programming. You understand? And some of them, the highest they even went to is probably they went to a community college. They didn't go to they didn't incur student loan debt. You understand? They were not indoctrinated and this thing and bring and in fact the long and short is that they remained relevant for the new economy. So why I'm using this now, I'm using this as an example to draw our attention to where you understand this has already happened in advanced countries. And we cannot, as much as that we are always backwards, every trend will always catch up with us. As much as what's it called? A lot of professions, a lot of industries are being disrupted due to IT and automation. That's what's coming to us. As architects, my belief, I do not have a problem. I do not have a problem with traditional learning. That's what everybody needs to understand. I do not have a problem with anyone choosing to go to the university, to the four walls of the university or polytechnic. Yes, I don't have a problem with that. The most important thing is, as architects, we are a technical based profession. What that means is that there is 101, there is 909% chance, 99.9% chances that you will not need to show your certificate to make money, to give you an opportunity.
That's true. So you have to
a lot of us, we can bear witness. Immediately after we graduated, we probably can't remember where our certificates were. You understand? We were talking about the skill sets that you had. You understand? And what do you call it? That during that period, it was more about if you were good.
Yeah, the network is really fluctuating. Okay. All right.
Hello?
Okay, so we can hear you. Go on. You can go on. You can go on. You can
Can you
hear
hear me now?
You're good to go. Loud and clear.
Okay, yes. What do you call it? It was more about the kind of skills, the kind of skills that were trending were card based. The kind of skills that were trending were card based, and 3D visualization. Those were the kind of skills that young architects were called up to. Yes, and those are the basics to get into the industry. But moving forward, moving to the future, right now as it is, BIM, especially in the global industry, BIM is the key. What's it called? Everybody needs to go and pick up with BIM skills. BIM is a key, skill that is in high demand.
Wow.
Coming in 10 years' time, from now to 10 years' time, that's by 2030, that is when skills in the area of full-scale automation. You understand? That is by the time we are in 2030, when the fourth industrial revolution, 5G networks, AI, robotics comes in full scale. That is when we need. That is when you having tech skills. You understand? You having tech skills as an architect becomes an advantage. So architects need to start looking at the whole concept of generative design and integrating integrating these new technological innovations to aid the design process. But for now, our advice will focus on building our skills on the full deployment of building information modeling, and not just about using Revit to do 3D design.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Very, very lengthy, yes, but really impactful. I don't know this second between the past how many minutes? It's about 30 minutes now. I think this is more like the bone cracker. It has really, really, we have a lot to do. So, in a nutshell, what I would just summarize everything to be is just I have to work. Our system will not definitely provide us with what we need. We need to go
Yep.
back to our tables. If we want to remain relevant, like I would say, if you want to stand up head tall as an architect and meet other architects in the world, you need to do your own personal. As a matter of fact, some of the skills that we have now, we're not really taught in the school because some of our lecturers were against the use of cards. And if we
Of
could
course.
actually survive that, and we were able to make our marks known to the point that some of them began realizing that it's like we made a mistake by not letting these guys do what they wanted to do. Those were, we can also infuse that into our system, into exploring the full potentials of BIM. It is very, very important. It is just by virtue of today's session that I actually got to know that we are not actually exploring to the full potential. And I remember speaking with a colleague some time ago, maybe some 4 years ago, in the UK, and he specifically told me that it's always difficult for him to work with Nigerian architects that are on with their masters over there in the UK. Why? Because we were not really taught the process. And ideally, outside Nigeria, if you see anybody that uses Revit, two foreigners that use Revit that actually went through the process of learning this, the process required, you will find out that the way they synchronize, they know, even if it's a sweep that you used, they would actually know that, okay, the best way that this person would have achieved this form would have been through sweep. And this is how the person would have done it. But Nigeria here, German, no way, now way, just get it done, satisfy your client, blow their mind, forget about it. And we have to go back. And it might be a bit difficult, it might be an excruciating process, but it's going to be worth it. So I think that's just how best I can put it. And some set of people, I must recognize some of my ogas that here. Architect Hassan Anipoche is actually joined on board. It's good to have you on board, sir. And we have Shesman. Thank you so much. Okay. I'll just quickly read through some comments. Someone asked about why some firms are actually particular about having Revit and then other softwares. I think in the course of this conversation, maybe you would have actually been able to pick one or two answers to that regard. And I have Biode okay, Webmaster. We have Webmaster here. He said, this man knows what he's saying. Europeans and Americans are already teaching architecture students machine learning and AI. So we have a lot to catch up on. Jude Biode, computers can only work with what we give them. Machine learning and AI are practically useless if not fed with relevant information. That's a good nugget. The task before us is enormous but achievable. That's just Biode, and it's just about collecting and documenting data in our own context. So it starts from points like this. It is enormous, yes, but it is still achievable. Let me see if I have some other things here. Okay, I think pretty much that's what we have for now, and it's a process. And the other thing again that is coming to my mind is we might need to really have like a series. This might really be a series because it's good. We have frequent sessions that helps in sensitizing people and equipping them with what the world is really advancing into, and with these informations, we can see how well we can try to carve a niche for ourselves and see how well we can position ourselves ahead of this change that is impending. So that's what we have to say. Mr. Lord, thank you so much. It's really been an amazing session. It has really been an insightful session. We hope to have you some other time. Yes, and I'm so sure that everyone today that has actually been online has learned a lot of key things. And for those of us that did not join, we'll be posting this. And also, we have a YouTube channel. Please, guys, try as much as possible to maximize the YouTube channel. We have some of these videos being posted there. So it's the name is Official Podcast. Whenever you get to YouTube, just search out Official Podcast. And also, we have a Twitter account. You can follow us on Twitter. Some of these things will be, sharing some nuggets as regards some key points that we're able to draw from the series we've been holding lately. So please, guys, try as much as possible to connect and share. Yeah, share. Don't restrict it. Yes, we might have 9 presently now. I know that we've had close to about 30 or 40 people come online, but there's so much power in connecting. You understand? This is I don't know what they call this era, the connected era or something. So from one side. So I think that's it. Thank you so much, Mr. Lord, guys. Thank you for being a part of this. For those of you that enjoyed till the end, really do appreciate you. We hope to have something mind-blowing coming up soon. Thank you so much, guys, once again. Do have a lovely night rest.
Bye-bye.
Bye.